The conflict between Israel and Hamas is not new. It is a deeply rooted struggle that has spanned generations, with each side bearing its own scars and grievances. It is a story of decades-long struggle marked by periods of intense violence and fragile ceasefires. Each ceasefire brings a fleeting hope, only to be shattered by the next wave of hostilities. This latest chapter, which erupted in October 2023, has been one of the most devastating yet, leaving a trail of destruction and loss across the region. The scale of the devastation is unprecedented, with entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble. Today, as the dust begins to settle, we are left grappling with the aftermath of this conflict, searching for answers amidst the ruins. The resilience of the people, however, shines through as they begin the arduous task of rebuilding their lives. The conflict has claimed the lives of thousands, both Israeli and Palestinian. Each life lost is a tragedy, a story cut short by the relentless cycle of violence. It has displaced countless more, their homes reduced to rubble, their lives shattered. Families are left to seek refuge in temporary shelters, uncertain of what the future holds. The images of destruction, the stories of loss and suffering, serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of this seemingly intractable conflict. These personal stories highlight the profound impact on individuals and communities, yet even amidst the despair, there are glimmers of hope. Children continue to play amidst the ruins, and volunteers tirelessly work to provide aid and support to those in need. A fragile ceasefire is in place, halting the daily barrage of rockets and airstrikes. This pause in violence allows for a moment of respite, a chance for communities to begin the slow process of healing. Negotiations are underway, seeking to forge a more lasting peace. Diplomatic efforts are crucial in addressing the root causes of the conflict and finding a sustainable solution. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but the pursuit of peace, however elusive, remains the only viable path forward. Peace rallies and symbolic gestures of unity offer a glimpse of what could be achieved. The international community has a crucial role to play in supporting these efforts, in providing humanitarian assistance to those in need, and in working to address the underlying issues that fuel this conflict. Global solidarity and support are essential in paving the way for a peaceful resolution. The stakes are high, not just for Israelis and Palestinians, but for the entire region and beyond. The outcome of this conflict will have far-reaching implications, influencing the stability and future of the Middle East and the world. On February 20, 2025, a solemn procession marked a bittersweet moment in the Israel-Gaza conflict. The air was thick with a mix of sorrow and relief as the nation came together to honor the lives lost and to support the grieving families. The bodies of 4 Israeli hostages, Shiri Bibas and her children, Ariel, Kafir, and Oded Lifshitz, were returned to Israel. These individuals had been missing for months, their absence a constant source of pain and uncertainty for their loved ones. Missing since the early days of the conflict, their fate had been a source of agonizing uncertainty for their families and the nation. The return of their bodies, while heartbreaking, provided a form of closure that had been desperately sought. The return, facilitated by the International Committee of the Red Cross, was met with a mix of relief and profound sorrow. The Red Cross played a crucial role in negotiating the return, navigating the complex and often dangerous landscape of the conflict zone. Images of the flag-draped coffins, stark against the backdrop of a military ceremony, underscored the human toll of the conflict. The sight was a poignant reminder of the lives lost and the families forever changed by the violence. For the families, the return brought a measure of closure, but also the crushing weight of grief, made all the more poignant by the public display of the coffins in Khan Yunis by Hamas, an act widely condemned as exploitative. The public display was seen by many as a political maneuver, adding to the already heavy burden of the families. The return of the hostages was a key element of the ongoing ceasefire negotiations. These negotiations have been fraught with tension, but the return of the hostages was seen as a potential turning point. Hamas's decision to release the bodies was seen by some as a gesture of goodwill, a signal of their willingness to engage in the peace process. However, others viewed it with skepticism, questioning the true intentions behind the move. However, the manner in which the return was orchestrated, particularly the public parading of the coffins, drew sharp criticism from the international community, including the United Nations, further underscoring the deep mistrust and animosity that continues to plague the peace process. The international community's reaction highlighted the complexities and sensitivities involved in such gestures. This latest development serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of the conflict. The images and stories of those affected bring to light the profound impact on individuals and families. Behind the headlines and political posturing are real lives lost, families torn apart, and a collective grief that hangs heavy over the region. The personal stories of loss and resilience are a testament to the enduring human spirit amidst such adversity. As negotiations continue, the hope is that this tragedy will serve as a catalyst for meaningful progress towards a lasting peace, one that honors the memory of those lost by building a future free from violence and fear. The path to peace is fraught with challenges, but the collective desire for a better future remains a powerful force for change. A fragile ceasefire, in place since January 2025, offers a glimmer of hope in the long and tumultuous Israel-Gaza conflict. Brokered by international mediators, the ceasefire aims to pave the way for a more durable peace agreement. The agreement, structured in 3 6-week phases, outlines a roadmap for de-escalation, humanitarian relief, and ultimately, a permanent cessation of hostilities. The first phase, successfully implemented, saw the release of 24 hostages in exchange for the release of over 1,000 Palestinian detainees. Crucially, this phase also allowed for the flow of humanitarian aid into the besieged Gaza Strip, providing much-needed relief to its beleaguered population. The second phase, currently underway, faces a more precarious path. Hamas has proposed the release of 6 living hostages on February 22, contingent on concessions that include the provision of construction equipment for Gaza. This demand has sparked controversy, with some arguing that such equipment could be used for rebuilding military infrastructure. Despite the challenges, the ceasefire negotiations represent a critical opportunity to break the cycle of violence. The international community, led by the United States and regional actors such as Egypt, is actively engaged in facilitating dialogue and urging both sides to seize this opportunity to forge a lasting peace. Section 4. The diplomatic dance: international players and regional stakes. The Israel-Gaza conflict is not just a regional crisis, it reverberates on the global stage, drawing in world powers and international organizations alike. The intricate web of alliances and rivalries means that any development in this conflict can have far-reaching implications, affecting international relations and global stability. The United States, under the leadership of Secretary of State Marco Rubio, is playing a pivotal role in mediating the ceasefire negotiations and engaging with regional stakeholders. Rubio's involvement underscores the strategic importance the U.S. places on maintaining stability in the Middle East, a region critical to its geopolitical interests. Rubio's diplomatic efforts have focused on urging both sides to uphold the ceasefire, address humanitarian concerns, and work towards a two-state solution. His approach has been multifaceted, involving not just direct negotiations, but also leveraging international support to pressure both parties into compliance. However, his efforts have been met with mixed results. While some progress has been made, significant challenges remain, particularly in bridging the deep-seated mistrust between the conflicting parties. While the initial phase of the ceasefire has held, the second phase faces stumbling blocks, particularly regarding Hamas's demands for the release of prisoners and reconstruction materials. These demands have become a sticking point, complicating the path to a lasting peace. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump's controversial proposal to relocate Palestinians from Gaza has been met with widespread condemnation. Critics argue that such a move would only exacerbate tensions and undermine efforts towards a sustainable resolution. Arab nations, including Egypt, have rejected the proposal outright, reiterating their support for a two-state solution as the only viable path to peace. Their stance reflects a broader consensus in the Arab world, which views the two-state solution as essential for regional stability. This proposal, widely seen as unrealistic and inflammatory, highlights the complexities of the conflict and the challenges of achieving a negotiated settlement. The international community remains divided on the best approach, further complicating diplomatic efforts. The international community, through organizations like the United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross, is also playing a vital role in providing humanitarian assistance, monitoring the ceasefire, and advocating for a peaceful resolution. Their efforts are crucial in alleviating the suffering of civilians and maintaining a semblance of order amidst the chaos. The European Union, for instance, has pledged significant financial aid for the reconstruction of Gaza, emphasizing the importance of addressing the humanitarian crisis. Their commitment underscores the need for a coordinated international response to support the rebuilding efforts and foster long-term peace. Section 5. A Sea of Rubble. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Beyond the political complexities and diplomatic wrangling lies a stark reality: the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Months of relentless bombardment have left the already impoverished and densely populated Strip in ruins. The statistics paint a grim picture: an estimated 70% of buildings destroyed or damaged, over 50,000 casualties since October 2023, and countless lives shattered. The sheer scale of destruction is staggering. Homes, hospitals, schools, and vital infrastructure lie in ruins. The once bustling streets of Gaza City now resemble a desolate wasteland, a grim testament to the ferocity of the conflict. The humanitarian crisis extends far beyond the physical damage. The psychological trauma inflicted on the population, particularly children, is immeasurable. The constant fear of violence, the loss of loved ones, and the displacement from their homes have left deep scars on the collective psyche of Gazans. The international community faces a moral imperative to provide immediate and substantial aid to alleviate the suffering in Gaza. The rebuilding effort, estimated to cost upwards of $50 billion, will require a sustained and coordinated international response.